You're a fucking gift just with your presence. The fact that you're on this universe, in this universe, the fact that you're alive, you are stardust. You are connected to the universe. You don't need IMDb credits. You don't need a certain number of classes. You don't need a certain number of accreditation or a degree or a PhD to be powerful. You are a gift. And just the fact that you're here is important.
Welcome to Inside the Audition, the podcast where we go behind the scenes for a deep dive look into the world of auditions. I'm Joe Larsen, creator of Actors Audition Club, an international community helping actors book your dream roles in TV, film, and theater.
And I'm Brandon Knox, actor, producer, and co-host. Each episode, we chat with actors and industry professionals to share their audition experiences, insights, and advice.
We provide actors with actionable tips, strategies, and resources to help you elevate your auditions.
We demystify the often intimidating and misunderstood world of auditions to help you succeed.
So whether you're just starting out on your acting journey or you're a seasoned pro, join our Actors Audition Club members as we go Inside the Audition.
Hey, Joey Freddy Larsen coming to you live from Los Angeles. I am here in my crazy, wacky Airbnb, and I'm going to do a little special, this is a special solo episode that I wanted to share some incredible things with you. So I want to get right into it. This episode is going to be all about personal growth, and I'm going to be sharing an incredible experience that I had with you, or I'm going to share let me start over. I'm going to share an incredible experience that I just had with you. Now, I'm down here in LA, and I was down in Laguna Beach a couple days ago for a retreat, a personal growth and development retreat. I'm part of a coaching program called Next Level. It's through a program called Business by Design, and it's through a business coach named James Wedmore. I was down in Laguna Beach in Orange County with 200 other entrepreneurs. It was incredible, filled with breakthroughs. And today's episode is just going to be my, really just me sharing with you what I learned. So it's my attempt to digest some of this stuff. I've made some notes and I want to share this with you. So first of all, the overall theme of the event is that your growth, or in this case, my growth, but anyone's growth equals your business growth. Your personal growth as an actor is going to equal your career growth. So the more you work on yourself, the more you grow, the more your business and career is going to grow. So I've got a bunch of notes here. I've actually got my actual notepad, which was filled with, I don't know how many pages. I've got probably 30 pages of notes here across 2 days. And all I'm going to be able to do today is just distill some of the key points with you. And I hope some of this resonates with you. And at the end, I got a big announcement that I'm going to share with you. So stick around to the end of the episode. Also, maybe I'll show you, let me show you quickly just this Airbnb that I'm staying in. It is wacky. Look at this place. Wow. Okay, and we are swinging back around, and here we are. So welcome. I'm doing this live. We don't always do these live episodes, but today I was like, you know what? Let's pop on. Let's do a little live. We can make these a little interactive too. So throughout the episode, if you got a question, you got a comment, feel free to drop it in. Let me know where you're watching from, where you're listening from. And I'm just going to be sharing some of my notes here today with you. And we'll see if you learned something. And I was blown away by this retreat. So hopefully you are as well. The first thing that I wanted to share was something called the Law of the Jungle. They opened the retreat with this, and they shared a Rudyard Kipling poem called The Law of the Jungle. And I'm just going to read it to you. It says, "As old and as true as the sky, and the wolf that shall keep it may prosper, but the wolf that shall break it must die. As the creeper that girdles the tree, the law runneth forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. And that really resonated with me because as an actor, as a performer, as a comedian, as an artist, often we're in this lone wolf type mentality. We spend most of our time finding our own career path, and with the exception of when you're actually cast in a theater production, you have an ensemble cast, or when you're cast in a TV film production and you're working with a bunch of other actors, the majority of our time as actors and as performers is spent on this lone wolf path. But as that poem by Rudyard Kipling says, the lone wolf perishes. The wolves are pack people and they're pack animals, and so are we as humans. We need that human connection, and we don't do well alone. So that really reminded me of just the idea of surrounding yourself with community, surround yourself with a group of other like-minded and growth-minded people. That's what we're doing at Actors Audition Club, and that's what I've been striving to do in my career. But I still really slip into this. It's so easy to slip into that lone wolf mentality, kind of isolate. You can tend to think that you're in this alone, that you're fighting for everything alone, that nobody understands you and no one is on the same path as you. But just the idea of thinking that you're part of a community, finding your community, finding like-minded people, joining groups, joining classes, joining workshops, and seeking out other people to be on this journey with you. So first of all, I love that right off the top. Second thing, I'm just going to really just be going through my notes here. The second thing was just talking about connection. We did an exercise. So I'm in a room with 200 people, and we did a connection exercise. And the instructions were to find someone next to you and find something that you that you have in common, something that you like. And then to find, once you connected on that one thing, to find some other people that felt the same way, and then to find some more people and some more people and some more people. And really the goal there was to create the biggest group possible that had a shared connection. So we did that, and I leaned next to the person next to me, and she said, "Oh, I love theater." And I was like, "Okay, I love theater." So we stood up and then walked to another group of people, and we were like, "Do you like theater?" And they're like, "Yeah, we like theater." And things would change. So we would encounter a group, and they were like, "We love to travel." And we were like, "Okay, yeah, we love to travel too." So we'd form a bigger group, and then we'd come up to another group, and they would say, "We love the beach." And we would say, "Yeah, we love the beach." And so the goal was to create the largest group with the one single connection. And we kept going and going and going until maybe 200 people in the group were divided into 2 or 3 groups. And then we were asked to just have a deeper conversation with that initial person about the one thing that we connected. So the first person that you talked to, in my case, it was about theater. We had a conversation about what was our favorite theater production, when was our first memory of watching a theater production. And then after having that conversation, they asked us, in which case did you feel more connection? When you connected with 100 people over this one big thing, or when you went deeper with that one person? And across the board, everyone said they felt more connected just with that one person. And then they asked us why, and we gave a list of things. So I have a list here of things that build connection that I wanted to share with you. And that's things like curiosity, being open, asking questions, actually listening, being willing, being vulnerable, being still, quality over quantity, just allowing, finding presence. And all of those things we got when we just had that one conversation with that one person. And then we talked about the things that destroyed connection. And in the first part of that episode, even though we quote unquote connected with more people and we built this large group, the connection wasn't deep because We felt rushed. We felt like we were competing. There felt like a pressure of, oh, we gotta gather all these people. We gotta get them around here, and we gotta build the biggest group and figure out where our connection is. Also, we were really moving. There was an idea of quantity over quality. It felt forced. We were interrupting people, like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? What are you connecting with? What are you connecting with? There was a sense of judging, a sense of comparison as well. So that's point number 2, I guess, in this episode, was just finding connection, going deeper with your connection. And you can think of that in your regular life, or you can think of that in terms of your acting. What brings a deep connection with an audience? It is things like stillness. It's often just sitting there silently and listening. It's being vulnerable. It's being open. So that's one thing, just the power of connection. A third thing here I wanted to share with you. We did this exercise, and I call it like a discovery exercise. And James just asked us, he said, I want you to close your eyes, take 5 seconds, close your eyes. Then when you open your eyes, I want you to imagine and pretend that you open your eyes and you're seeing everything around you like you've opened your eyes for the first time. So think of that like maybe you're a baby and you've been born and you open your eyes and you see this incredible world for the first time. Or you've traveled from another dimension, or you're an alien, traveled from another dimension through some kind of wormhole. And when you arrive here on Earth, you open your eyes and you're seeing things for the first time. And that was a really profound exercise for me, because when you do that, and you can do that right now, if you close your eyes, give yourself a few seconds, and then you open them and you just look around and look around yourself and actually take everything in. Now, I'm in this Airbnb and there's so much to look at. It's ridiculous. But just the idea of all of a sudden, what happens when you open your eyes and look at the world like it's the first time you ever looked at it? All of a sudden, you're so much more curious. You're so much more fascinated. Colors look more vivid. You see things that you didn't see for the first time. And in our acting world, that's so huge, because a big part of acting and any scene is the illusion of the first time. An audience doesn't want to see you in a scene where you've rehearsed it 1,000 times and you've just done it over and over and over. They want to see this like it's happening to you for the very first time. So that's I just share that with you as an exercise. How often can you open your eyes and open and look around with that childlike, almost baby-like curiosity and fascination, like you're seeing something for the first time? That to me was really profound. I'm going to move to a fourth thing here. We talked about the idea that things happen to us, and there's a difference between what actually factually happened and the meaning that we assign to it. And in our lives, shit happens to us. Things can happen to the same two people and have an entirely different meaning, because we assign meaning to things. We assign stories to things. And I'll give you an example. I've had the good fortune in my career. I've been an actor and comedian for 15 years. I booked lead roles in TV, film, commercials, voiceovers, all kinds of stuff. Been involved in some amazing productions. Super grateful for that. But at the same time, I've also had what you might call droughts. And the longest I've gone, I think I've had a few stints in my career where I went over a year, like 12 months, without booking something in TV, film, or commercials. Now, throughout that time, I always had stand-up. I always had some theater productions that I was doing. But as far as auditioning and not booking the role, and we were asked to look at the meanings that we assign to that. So I want to share this with you. I'm going to flip through my book here. These are my notes. Where is it? Okay, so I called it the drought. And think about, that's just me assigning what happened. What actually happened was I had 12 months of auditions, dozens of auditions, and I didn't book a TV film audition during that time. So we were asked what were some of the meanings we could put to that. And so some of them, and some of you might, I think it doesn't matter what actor you're thinking of, any A-list actor, every actor in their career has had a period where they didn't book a whole lot. And so some of the meanings that I've assigned to that and might come up to you, you might be thinking, I'm not a good actor. You might be thinking, I'm an imposter. You might be thinking things are not working. You might be thinking will it ever work out? Will I ever book another role again? Am I cut out for acting? Am I not skilled enough to book a role? Feelings of shame and doubt and fear and sadness and frustration and judgment and despair. In my case, I help coach other actors. So then there's the feeling of, well, how can I teach and coach other actors when I'm not booking myself? All of those things come up, and all those are just stories and meanings that I have assigned to the thing that happened. What happened? I went 12 months of auditions, dozens of auditions, and I didn't book the role. And then we were asked to think, if we were continue to believe those meanings, what would happen over time? Well, if you continue to think things like, I'm not a good actor, I'm an imposter, things are not working, will they ever work out? Will I ever book again? Am I cut out for acting? Am I not skilled enough to book? Shame, fear, doubt, sadness, frustration, judgment, despair. If you continue to think those things, what do you think is going to happen? Eventually, worst case, maybe you quit acting. Maybe you just shut it down completely. Maybe you return to your Joe job. Maybe you return to your acting job. Maybe you say to yourself, you know what? I let myself down. I let my family down. This just wasn't cut out to me. And you just outright quit. Then we were asked, what if you started to change some of those meanings? And specifically asked your questions of what meaning or thought could I assign to this that would be helpful? What's possible if I were to think of this in a different way, or how could I think of this in a different way that would be helpful to me? And then all of a sudden, here are some of those. Those roles weren't fit for me. Those just weren't the roles for me. I had great auditions, but just wasn't the right fit. What if casting fucking loved your audition and production loved the audition, but for one reason or another, they just had to go another way? Maybe they had to match with another character. That could be height, that could be the look and feel. Did you look like your father, or did you look like the kids? Maybe you could look at it as a positive, like I could take some classes. I could improve my preparation and rehearsal process. You could think of it as these roles were not for me, but the real role for me is coming. It's coming down the pipeline. You could be learning lessons of not booking, like patience or how to stay positive. And when I start to think of that, I actually think that makes me a better coach and a better teacher, because I've been through some of the downside of things. It's easy to be a coach when everything's been amazing, but really when people need the help is when the chips are down. So if I'm ever talking to an actor who's gone through a bit of a quote unquote drought, I have an ability to talk to them and to help them through that storm until they get to the other side. You might think of that as the lesson is I need to learn resilience. I need to learn patience. You might even think of this as this is a test of my resilience and my commitment to the craft. You really want this? Are you committed to it? This might be the universe just testing you, saying, you really fucking want this? Well, what happens when you're tested? If you really want this, how long are you willing to go without getting that big booking? So all of these things will make you a stronger person. They'll make you a stronger actor. So just the idea of looking at when things happen to you, first of all, what are the facts? What actually happened? Okay, I went a certain period of time, had a certain number of auditions, didn't book the role. Then look at all those meanings. all the negative, shitty meanings, all the shitty self-talk, self-doubt, and then ask yourself, how could I change my thinking and turn this into a positive? What would I need to think about this situation for it to be something good for me? So, and just remember that life is the good, the bad, and the ugly. So be here for all of it. And what the idea of what a pity that most people never really see that. And also the idea of what if instead of life happening to you and all these negative things happening to you, what if these things were happening for you? What if the universe was conspiring for you? Brandon Knox, who we work with at the studio, sent me a Instagram reel, and it was the idea of instead of being paranoid, being pro-noid, and just thinking, what if the entire universe was conspiring to give you what you needed? Sure, shit happens to you, but what if you looked at it as, this happened to me because this is exactly what I needed today? So just huge breakthrough for me. And you can try that on. All this, I'm just going to throw things out at you. I'm doing this to share things for you, hoping that you'll pick some of it up and it will help you. But I'm actually doing it because selfishly, this helps me integrate and digest. We spent 2 incredible days at this conference, at this retreat, and I got 30 pages of notes. So sharing with it helps me integrate it and helps me reinforce it with you. If any of this is landing with you, let me know in the comments. I can see the comments. If you have any comments or you want to share something, share this out with me right now. Next thing I want to share was the importance of silence. And James, he talked about something, he threw out some first of all facts, and these are scary. And the first one was that most humans, 47% of our waking hours are spent thinking about something other than what we're doing right now. I'm going to say that again. 40% of the time that we spend awake is spent thinking about things other than what we're doing right now. Meaning, we're either thinking about shit that happened in the past, or we're thinking about things that are going to happen in the future, or often that we think are going to happen in the future, meaning fear about the future that never come to pass. And very, very rarely, 50% of the time or less, are we thinking about right now? Are we actually present? And the other stat was 95% of our daily thoughts are recycled from yesterday, meaning every day, the majority of our thoughts are just a program, chatter, the same shit we thought about yesterday, we're thinking about again. Now, if those are shitty thoughts and you're recycling 95% of shitty thoughts, that's not a good thing. So it's about breaking those patterns and breaking those programs. And of those 95%, 80% of those are negative. So just think about that. We spend half our time not thinking about what we're actually doing right now. We're daydreaming about the past, or we're daydreaming about the future. We're ruminating about a past, or we're worrying about the future. And 95% of the thoughts that we have every day are just a program that we thought yesterday. And 80% of those thoughts are not serving us. That's fucking bonkers when you think about it. So the importance of starting to reprogram that. And James shared he shared this quote with us. He said, "To change the world, I have to change myself. To change myself, I have to stop my world. When I stop my world, I can change myself, and then I can change the world." I'm going to say that again. To change the world, I have to change myself. To change myself, I have to stop my world. When I stop my world, I can change myself. And when I change myself, I can change the world. So what was he talking about there is that the answers are in the silence. All of us are walking around like society and the world and our phones. It's just fucking noise, 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 noise. Chatter, chatter, chatter. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Notification, 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 notification. Just all day long. But we don't ever really become truly connected to the universe, aka ourselves, God, source, the universe, however you want to put it, the path to connect to that is just to sit in silence. Sometimes with your eyes closed. Shut out all of the visual shit that's coming at you and just sit in silence. And you'll notice that you get these whisperings from God, source, the universe, self, wherever that's coming from. We really only get those in silence. So it's the idea of, it's having a meditative practice. Now that might be something that you do a minute here or there. Some people do this for hours a day. Buddhist monks do it for days and days on end, where it's just silence, silence, silence. But just the idea of sitting in silence. Where can you find more silence in your life? As an actor, maybe that just means finding some silence in a performance. Sometimes the most profound moments in any scene are just when you're just sitting there listening, completely still, letting the audience see you and really breathe you in and soak you in. So that was a huge one for me, is just where can we find more silence, and just recognizing right now the world is filled with all kinds of fucking noise. And every time you can get away from that noise, even if it's just for a minute or two, and just find silence, it's going to be profound. And you can just ask a question. You ask yourself a question that you think you're looking for an answer. Remember the idea that the quality of your questions equals the quality of your life. So you want to ask high value questions, not dead end questions. Often questions like why are shitty dead end questions. Why did this happen to me? Sometimes a shitty question. You want to ask things like, what can I learn from this? What could be emerging from this? What could be the new lesson from this? How can I? What can I? Versus often why questions. So just ask you, when you're asking questions, really look at the question and see, best case scenario, if I get answers for this, are they going to be answers that serve me? Is this a question that served me? So find the silence. Next thing is the idea that tiny shifts yield massive change. And the metaphor that James gave us is, you may have heard this, but plane takes off in LA, heading to New York. If throughout the course of that plane, if when it starts, if it's off just 1 degree, just one tiny degree, like literally if it's on the runway and it's pointing straight, and then you were just to tweak it so it's 1 degree this way, it's going to end up miles in the wrong direction. Instead of landing in New York, it might land in the ocean and crash. And so what a plane does, while it's flying, it's constantly getting hit. It gets hit by winds and a jet stream and all kinds of things. But it makes these tiny course corrections the whole way. The autopilot is constantly making course corrections so that it's staying on track, staying on track, staying on track. So the idea, tiny shifts yield massive change. And the idea of don't discredit the small things. So that might be real small habits. That might be a habit of like 10 minutes of exercise or 5 minutes of meditation. You do 5 minutes of meditation every day. At the end of a week, a month, a year, you do 10 minutes of exercise a day every single year. The small little shift of substituting a shitty food for a piece of fruit. You trade in you trade in like a fast food or a chocolate bar, shitty chocolate bar, or candy or something filled with sugar for something natural, fruits, vegetables. Tiny little shift in one day, then you stack those up and all of a sudden you make massive shifts. So as an actor, what does that mean? Maybe you get up and you do 10 minutes of voice and speech workout. Maybe you read a little bit of a play every day. Maybe you just, you read a little book. You take a little bit of a class every day. You stack those up. And over the course of a year, a 10-year career, a 20-year career, even the idea of just one more rep, one more reach out to another person, one more email to another person, one more rehearsal, just the power of one more. I listened to a podcast by a guy named Ed Milet, who's a world-class motivational speaker. He's an author, best-selling author. He's got a book called The Power of One More, and just little changes, just one more little thing, when you stack those up, makes massive changes. So don't discredit the small things. Another one here that we reviewed was the idea of be, do, and have, and the be, do, have model. And to explain that is most people are operating backwards. Meaning they look around at what they have, their current circumstances, they look at their bank account, they look at their environment, they look at the job they have, the relationship they have, the clothes they have, the money they have, the house they have, and then they figure out what they got to change, what they got to do in order to be the person that they want to be and have the life that they want to have, where in fact that's backwards. And most of us actually look at what we can do. Something in our lives isn't the way we want it, and we think, what can I do? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? What do we need to do? What do we need to do? And we look for the secret thing, like the new move or the new trick or the new hack. When really what we need to think is, how can we start with identity? Because there's the saying, you might have heard this, the doing is only as good as the being doing the doing. Meaning, I can give you all the tactics and strategy in the world. You could take the greatest acting class in the world. I can give you the blueprint, the map, the exact steps that someone else have followed to reach their dreams. But if you still have all kinds of garbage up here, if your identity doesn't match that, if you have low self-worth, low self-esteem, if you got stories going on in your mind that aren't serving and aren't lifting you up, I can give you the key to the castle. But if the being with that key isn't at the level that needs to be, then it's kind of all for naught. It's kind of the idea of whipped cream on garbage. I can give you I give you all the whipped cream. It's delicious, but if you just stack it all on top of garbage, you're just having a nice, delicious garbage sundae with a little bit of whipped cream on top of it. So the idea of starting with who you want to be, starting with identity, and then moving to what would the person, so in the case of an actor, think of your favorite actor, or think of the person that you want to be down the line, and then think of that identity, and then think first, what would that person do? So again, it's the idea of thinking with the end in mind. So flash forward, what do you want your career and life to be? Well, who do you need to be first to have that life? And then you start with who you want to be, and then what does that person do? So once you have that identity, what kind of habits and traits and actions does that person take? And then what happens is you will have the things that you want to have. So starting with be, then do, then have, where most of us look around at our circumstances. We look at what we have. I don't have enough money in my bank account. Oh, my relationships are this, or I don't have the job, or I don't have the network, or I don't have the opportunities, or I don't have the relationships. And then we say stuck because, well, we can't change it because we're starting with what we already have instead of starting with who we can be, who we need to be. Then who does that person act? What do they do? And then eventually you have what you have. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, look up be, do, have. Jim Fortin is a brilliant teacher and coach, and he's done a ton of work with that be, do, have. But it all starts with here. So that's a ton of stuff I've shared with you. I'm going to just flip through my notes literally right now and share some other quotable quotes to end this off. And then I'm going to end with a massive announcement that we got going on here at Actors Audition Club. So again, the idea of having burning passion and desire. When you have burning passion and desire, really nothing can stop you. The idea of reclaiming your personal power. We give away our power to other people. We give away our power to the past. We give our power away to online haters and to an old teacher who said something shitty to you, or a relative that said something shitty to you. We left all our power, but we are so fucking powerful. So just remembering your power and reclaiming that power. The idea of confidence. What is confidence? Confidence is how we feel in the present about something in the future. When we don't feel confident about something, it's because we're thinking, oh shit, this isn't going to go well. So think about that in terms of your auditions. If you're thinking, oh no, I'm not going to get this audition, it's because you're thinking in the future, you're thinking that this isn't going to go well. You're thinking that your performance, maybe you're thinking like, am I going to remember my lines? Is the director going to like me? Is casting going to like me? Are they going to choose me? But when you build confidence comes from thinking that the future is going to be great. So connecting with a future where everything went the way you want it to, and even the idea of mentally rehearsing your audition, mentally rehearsing how things go in advance. What else can I share here? This is good. That you're a gift just with your presence. A lot of people think that you have to acquire a certain amount of wealth or a certain amount of IMDb credits, but just realizing and reconnecting that you're a fucking gift just with your presence. The fact that you're on this universe, in this universe, the fact that you're alive, you are stardust, you are connected to the universe. You don't need IMDb credits. You don't need a certain number of classes. You don't need a certain number of accreditation or a degree or a PhD to be powerful. You are a gift. And just the fact that you're here is important. That's huge. And reminding yourself and remembering you have a massive impact on everyone that you come in contact with. How often do we walk around and we can kind of head down? We don't really acknowledge the person behind the checkout, or we don't really acknowledge the waiter or the waitress. We open doors and pass by strangers every day, but just realizing like little massive impacts, just a smile sometimes that you might have a huge impact on someone. You never know who you're going to encounter, and then the ripple effect that has something that has on someone else. We were also shared something called I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, but it's a Hawaiian prayer, an ancient Hawaiian prayer called the Ho'oponopono. I think that's it. And it's real simple. It's, I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. So the challenge of try this on, walk around to strangers, look at a stranger and just think. You're on the bus or you're in line somewhere, just think, I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. Any version of those in any order could just be, I love you. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. Could be, please forgive me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. They call that cleaning. Just try that on for size. That feels good. It actually brings up a lot too. Even as I do it right now, I get emotional just doing that. So try that on for size. Sit in some silence and just think or repeat to yourself, I love you. Even look in the mirror. Say, I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Do that over and over again. Cleaning is the way to think about it. And if it brings up tears or emotions, that's good. It's flushing some things out. Maybe it's releasing some weight. You'll feel lighter. You'll feel just more presence from that. What else can I share with you here? We are hardwired to move away from pain towards pleasure. The mind loves the familiar and dislikes the unfamiliar. Think about that too. So we always go back to the familiar, but if you want to change things, you need to get feeling uncomfortable, or you need to start feeling familiar with the unfamiliar, or you need to turn the unfamiliar into the familiar. So again, these are just some of the notes from this retreat. The idea of playing full out, the idea of being present, staying in the game, practicing something called mudita, which I think is an ancient, I think it's Indian mudita, spelled M-U-D-I-T-A. I believe it's compassionate joy or empathetic joy. So that's huge for actors. So when you see someone else book another role, when you see someone else have a success, a friend or anyone, are you like, oh, fuck, they got it and I didn't? Or are you like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. That's incredible. I'm so happy for you. Mudita, empathetic joy. Man, I'm getting emotional bringing this stuff up here. Mudita is Sanskrit. There it is. It's either Sanskrit or Pali for sympathetic joy, empathetic joy. So just being able to be joyful for someone else's success. What else can I share? Oh, here's a good one. That you're never, the idea that you're never starting from scratch. Sometimes we get something in life and then we lose it and we think, oh my God, now I'm back to zero. I'm starting from scratch. You're never starting from scratch. Everything that brought you to that thing that you achieved is inside you. You got that thing. You achieved that thing. You have that with you. So there's never really a sense of loss that leads you back to scratch. So we can have reversals. We lose a relationship, we lose a job, we have financial reversals, we have good things that happen to us followed by shitty things, but you're never just back at ground zero. You always have the things that brought you to that peak within you. Here's a good one. Everything that comes into my awareness is my responsibility. If you want to change anything, first look within yourself. It's about healing yourself first and foremost. We are here to bring peace to our lives, and in doing so, we bring peace to the world. But you start with yourself. When you take 100% responsibility for everything, because everything in our lives is a reflection of what is inside us. So you look outside, and just having the idea of everything in your world is really a reflection of the inside of you. And this is a nice quote. Have you ever noticed that whenever there's a problem, you're there? Huh? You have all these problems in your life. Maybe you have financial problems, job problems, relationship problems. But the one thing that's always there is you. You're always there. So what if you took entire 100% responsibility for the problem and realized, maybe all these problems lie within me. So if I can change and improve things within me, all of a sudden the outer world changes. So being humble, staying grounded, the idea that our ego always wants to keep us safe. Our ego does not want us to go somewhere that you've never been before. So if you want to achieve things that you've never achieved before, knowing that your ego is going to find a million ways to make you afraid of that and to make you trepidatious of that. And your ego will convince you not to take those new steps because your ego wants to keep you safe and warm, even when the place that you want to go is a place that's quote unquote better, and a better life, more money, more stronger relationships, more love, all that kind of stuff. Your ego will still figure out a way to be like, no, you don't want to go there. Just stay here where you're very comfortable. Someone at the retreat shared something really brilliant, and she was talking about the law of attraction and the idea of when you look at your life and the world, treating your world, there's these AI models now. Midjourney is an AI tool where you can literally type in any input and it will generate a picture or a video. So I could say right now, like, generate me a video of Tom Cruise riding a unicorn in space, fighting dinosaurs, and that will happen. And she challenged us with the idea of, what if you look at the actual world like that right now? You look at everything around you, your life, your surroundings, your bank account, your relationships, your family, your home, as the output, and the input is here. So you want something in your life, put those positive, strong, good inputs here, and then you start to see them in your world. So what if you treated the actual world, and I'm going to say actual, who knows what the world is? I don't know what it is, but just our physical 3D world. What if you started to think of this is all a reflection of what I'm thinking out here? You want to put inputs in here to get the output. So garbage in, garbage out, good in, good out. What else do I have here? So much here. Again, I'm sharing 2 days. I can't possibly share it all, and I'm just throwing a ton at you, hoping that some of it stinks. It's not stinks, sticks. Freudian slip there. Some of it does stink. I think that may be it. But the thing that I want to finish on here, on the train ride from Orange County, I was down in Laguna Beach. On the train ride, I was listening to a podcast from Ed Milet. Again, he's a world-renowned speaker. He is a best-selling author. He was talking about the idea of touching your dreams and tasting your dreams. And what he was saying is the idea of, often to us, our dreams are out there. A lot of the times our dreams are in the future. Sometimes they feel really far away. And the problem with that is if they feel far away, our brains and our egos will keep them far away. Again, our brains like the familiar and they dislike the unfamiliar. So if you're constantly thinking in your head that your dream life, your dream role, your dream career as an actor is 10, 20 years down the road, your brain and your ego will do everything possible to keep that distance between you and your dreams, because that is what is familiar to you. So Ed talked about the idea of touching and tasting your dreams. So what does that mean? I'm literally doing it right now. I decided after this conference to check myself into a fucking wicked cool Airbnb in Hollywood, in LA, and just experience what it is like to live in LA, to be here in LA, surround myself by good vibes. Again, I'll show you where I am right now. Look at this place. But what does that mean? That might mean checking yourself into that fancy hotel. Maybe you can't afford to stay at the Four Seasons every time you travel, but the idea of touching your dreams and tasting your dreams, save up a little bit of money and treat yourself to that dream night at a hotel. Or maybe you can't right now afford to eat at the fanciest restaurant every single night. Well, instead of eating out at a shitty restaurant every night, save up some money and then treat yourself to that fancy meal. Or that might mean you want to be on Broadway. Well, maybe you're not quite there. Maybe you want to live in New York and be a Broadway actor. Well, maybe that means you need to take a week and book a vacation to New York and grab a ticket or two to a Broadway play and get in those Broadway theaters and surround yourself and immerse yourself by that. You want to be working with Hollywood level actors and directors. Maybe that means investing in some workshops or some courses. Maybe that just means watching some of your favorite movies to again connect yourself with those. Maybe that means reading biographies of your favorite actors and getting in the headspace and the mindset of their journey. So just the idea of making the unfamiliar familiar, and all of a sudden what'll happen is you start to get more comfortable and more familiar. If you're a stand-up comic, maybe instead of spending every night at shitty open mics, you go to the top comedy club in your area, or you make a trip to LA and you go to the Comedy Store, you go to the Laugh Factory, you go to the Hollywood Improv, and you start to see and smell and taste and listen to, holy shit, this is what it feels like to be at the Comedy Store. And you see your idols on stage and you get closer and closer to that dream. So again, the idea of touching, tasting your dreams, getting closer, closing the gap. And the more often you do that, what'll happen, your brain and your ego starts to become familiar with that. And again, you will always move to what's familiar and you'll move away from what's unfamiliar. So if your dreams and your dream life seems very foreign and unfamiliar and far away, your brain will keep that far away from you. So you got to do things to get it closer to you. Hopefully that makes sense. That's literally what I'm doing right now. I'm in this fucking cool Airbnb. I'm in Hollywood. I'm taking hikes up into the Hollywood Hills, going to see the Hollywood sign, going to the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory and the Improv, immersing myself in this environment. I just came from that retreat, the next level retreat in Orange County, where I was surrounded by 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs, people making 10 and 12 million dollars a year with their businesses. And part of me would be like, what the fuck do I have? How do I belong here? But what I'm doing is I'm closing the gap. I'm deciding, yeah, I fucking belong there. And I want to get around those people. I stayed at a Marriott hotel, which was like $350 American, $500 Canadian. Every day, would I spend $500 on a hotel? Probably not. But I want to experience that life and I want to get myself closer. And there's just a different vibe when you're in a $500 a night hotel. And the people that you're going to be around when you're there, how you feel, how you carry yourself, how you start to think about yourself, you start to have a glimpse into your future self and your future life. So again, the idea of touch your dreams, reach out and grab them. Don't keep them 20 and 30 years away. Don't stay stuck in your current surroundings. Maybe you can't afford it every day. And I'm not saying I'm not saying go out there and be irresponsible with your money and spend money that you don't have. You can do some of this for free. Read books, read biographies, watch videos, watch your favorite movies, get tickets to shows, treat yourself to that fancy vacation every once in a while. And I'm not talking a 3-week vacation. Maybe it just means a day. Maybe it means going to that fancy country club and treating yourself to the most expensive golf course club that you could go on just to be around those types of people. But touch your dreams. And the more often you can do that, the more it will feel real for you. Mary Catherine says, hello, Lars. I hope you're enjoying the Valley. I am, Mary Catherine. I am. Thank you so much. Again, it's just a quick trip. I don't know if I'll be able to connect with you guys again, but every time I'm here, I think about you guys, and I hope you guys are doing well. I think we're bringing this episode to a close. So I said at the beginning of the episode that I was going to share something super special with you. So here it is. I've spent the last 15 years of my life as an actor and stand-up comedian. Been fortunate enough to book lead roles in TV, film, commercials, voiceover, theater, really lived my dreams. I've already, like, if I died tomorrow and never got to do another thing, or if I never booked another role in my career, I would already be grateful. I've already feel like I've lived a dream, and I feel like pinching myself every fucking day. And in the last 7 years, I've helped through Actors Audition Club. We've helped actors, hundreds of actors, shoot almost 5,000 standout auditions for TV, film, commercials, theater, voiceover, video games. And so for the first time, what we're doing is we're going to offer a group class. I've never done this before. We have always done just one-on-one coaching. We work one-on-one with actors. We've never put together a group program. I've had people ask me about it. Actors come to the studio, or we connect with actors on Zoom, and they say, are you ever going to run classes? Are you ever going to run some group coaching? And the answer is, I finally decided to do it. It's coming up soon. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a very small group class where we're going to teach our exact processes, the step-by-step formulas and things that we've learned along the way, things that we've learned from helping and coaching other actors. Again, about 4,700, as of the end of last year, it was 4,700. So we're probably closer to 5,000 now. We've helped 5,000, we've helped hundreds of actors shoot 5,000 auditions. So you learn a lot. You learn a lot about what the top actors are doing and what the difference makers are between super successful actors who are living their dreams and booking the dream roles versus those who are maybe struggling a little more. So what we finally decided to do is put together a group program. I announced it to my email list recently, but we're going to limit it to a very small group, probably 5 to 10 people max, maybe 5, maybe 8, 10. 10 is going to be the absolute max. What it's going to be is an 8-week program. We're going to do monologue study, scene study, cold reads, voice and speech, mastering self-tapes. We're going to talk a lot about the mindset things that come along with that. We're going to give you some of our exact processes, our audition checklist, our audition tracker. We're going to share some of the tips and secrets that we've experienced that are making the difference for our top actors. And we've never done this before. Now, in the future, this 8-week program is going to be around $1,000. But what I'm doing for 2 reasons, because this is a small group and because we're going to tailor design this course and this program to the first 5 actors that join the program, we're going to offer it for 50% off. So what that means is you're going to get 8 weeks of custom tailored coaching and training with myself and our team of coaches through Actors Audition Club in a small, intimate environment where you're literally going to be able to tell me in advance, this is what I want to work on. Can you help me work on this? And we're going to custom tailor to that first cohort. And as a result of that, because it's the first time we've done the group and because we're going to be working with you to custom tailor the curriculum, we're going to offer that at 50% off. So you're going to get 8 weeks of custom training for under $500. And the only way that you're going to get that is by being in that first group of 5. So how can you do it? If you're watching this live stream or listening to the podcast, you can comment live. Just comment, I'm in. You don't have to say it 3 times. Just say, I'm in. Or you can send us a DM online, Instagram, Facebook, either at Actors Audition Club or my personal. Just say, I'm in. We're going to be starting this in early September, probably the first week in September. I've just announced this recently to our email list. We filled 3 spots right away. So we got a couple spots to fill the first 5. I might, after we fill those 5, I might accept a few more. I'm not sure. It might be just 5. So if you want to get in on that, again, it's going to be around $1,000 in the future once we flush out the curriculum and the program. 8 weeks of an intensive training. It's probably going to be I would think 3 hours a week at minimum, plus a lot of extra bonuses that we're going to add to the program as well to help people out. If you want to get in on that, shoot us a message. You can email us hello@actorsauditionclub.com. This is the first time we've ever done it. Again, this is going to be me distilling my 15 years of experience as an actor and comedian, booking roles in TV, film, theater, commercials, video games, voiceover, and over the 7 years of running Actors Audition Club, helping hundreds of actors shoot thousands of auditions, almost 5,000 auditions. We're going to be distilling and teaching and coaching everything we've learned, and you're going to get it at half price. So you got to get in, and you got to be the first 5 people to get in. We've filled 3 of those spots already, so we got a few spots left over. Just let us know on Instagram, Facebook, or shoot us an email, hello@actorsauditionclub.com. And this is open to actors of all experience. I don't care if you've been doing this for 30 years. In fact, we just had an actor who, I'm not going to name names, but we have an actor who she was a cast member of SCTV, and she was a cast member on Saturday Night Live. She's been doing this now 40, 50 years. And she was one of the first people to say, I want into this coaching course. So don't think that you have too much experience to learn from this. You can always get to the next level. Maybe you're feeling like you're a little stuck. We're going to be tailor designing this program to create breakthroughs within the group. You're going to be learning not just from me, but from other coaches at Actors Audition Club. And more importantly, you're going to be learning from each other. That's the point of group training and group coaching, is you learn from everyone. It's going to be crowdsourcing, the hive mind. You're going to make connections with other actors. You're going to learn from other actors. Of course, I'm going to give you everything I possibly got. So regardless of your experience level, maybe you just feel like you hit a little bit of a plateau, you want to get to the next level, or I'm going to open this up maybe you've never acted a day in your fucking life, but you've ever thought of it before. I come from a unique perspective because I started when I was 31 years old. I didn't go to theater school. I didn't go to film school when I started. I was in a 10-year corporate career, and I just finally decided, hey, I want to do something creative. I literally answered an ad on Craigslist that said, so you want to be a comedian? Did an open mic, and that led to more stand-up and then TV film career and everything that happened after that. But I started with zero experience. Since then, I've taken 1 million workshops and classes and courses. I've done a full conservatory program. So I've gotten a ton of training, but the idea of coaching and training will get you to the next level. Sometimes you're not seeing the blind spots that you see, and having outside eyes and having a coach, having a trainer, a teacher, and having a group environment will help you reach that next level. So even if you've never acted before, I know I have friends and people on my social media list that aren't involved in show business at all. And if you're thinking, wow, he did it, maybe I want to do this, you can be in that group. So it's going to be beginners, going to be experts. Everyone's going to get something from it. Again, it's coming very quickly. It is August 19th right now. We're going to start first week in September. It's eventually going to be $1,000 for this 8-week course. We're going to do 50% off because it's the group, the first group, and because I'm going to be working with these first 5 or 6 or 8 people to custom tailor the curriculum. So I'm going to be helping you, but you're going to be helping me, and we're going to be figuring out what works and really what you want, and figuring out what the highest value coaching and training for you is to create these breakthroughs. So as a result, to dangle a little carrot, we're going to give it to you for 50% off. So that's 8 weeks of training, very limited group. Again, probably 5, maybe 8 people. And I don't know if I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it for sure this first 8 weeks. I may not do it again. So now's your opportunity to get into that. So shoot me a DM on any platform. Just say I'm in. I'll know what that means. You can email hello@actorsauditionclub.com. You can comment if you're listening or watching to the podcast. Comment anywhere the podcast is, and we'll see that. Connect with us. Claim one of those spots. I'll follow up with all the details on how to get registered. I'll follow up with how to get your payment for the investment to get in, to reserve your spot. But it's going to be amazing. It's going to be super fun. All right, so that's it. Hopefully you've gotten some value from this episode today. I'm down here in LA for a few more days, again, touching and tasting my dream, living the Hollywood dream. Go out there, make your dreams a reality. Remember that your growth, your personal growth equals your business and career growth. So the more you grow as a person, the more you're going to grow your career in show business. And remember that idea of sitting in the silence. Remember the idea of touching your dreams. So don't keep your dreams 30 years away. Remember that your dreams could be around the corner. You could be one conversation away from someone. It could be the next email you get from your agent that leads to the audition, that books you the role, that changes your fucking life forever and changes the life for you and your family and your friends, and you never look back. But it all starts with things up here. So again, there it is. Thanks for listening, watching Inside the Audition. We'll see you at the next one. Love you guys. And again, I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. The Ho'oponopono prayer. All right. That's been Inside the Audition, and we will see you next time. Bye.